The following episode of The Kingdom of Isolation contains footage from the film being discussed. The footage is used solely for the purposes of education, commentary, and criticism under fair use. Please support the animators by watching this film on Disney Plus or home media where available. This episode also contains spoilers throughout.
Hello my fellow Disney fans and welcome to the Kingdom of Isolation, where in times of trouble, why not celebrate the magic of Disney? I'm Kenzie and today we're going to be looking at Pixar's latest offering on Disney Plus, Hoppers, which released just earlier this year in 2026. Now I went to see this on my birthday back in April and I think it was a fun way to start my birthday. Imagine being able to step inside the body of an animal and experience the world exactly as they do. That's the idea behind Hoppers, a Pixar film where scientists develop technology that lets humans hop their consciousness into robotic animals to communicate with real wildlife. When Mabel, an animal-obsessed teenager, gets access to the tech, she doesn't just observe the animal world, she gets pulled into a mystery inside it. But before we get too far into the story, there's a fascinating piece of behind-the-scenes information about Hoppers. Director Daniel Chong originally pitched the film with a robotic Adelie penguin at the center of the story instead of a beaver. Pixar liked the concept, but reportedly felt animation already had plenty of penguin movies. After several revisions, the penguin was replaced with a beaver, and a decision that ended up shaping the entire film. The beavers are often referred to as ecosystem engineers because they physically alter their environment by building dams and reshaping waterways. That concept became a major influence on the environment themes running throughout the finished movie. And on that note, time to start hopping. And yes, I'm having my breakfast while I'm recording this. School bell rings for recess, and the class are touching a turtle quite uncomfortably before leaving Crush, a nod to Finding Nemo, on his back. Mabel tries to sneak Crush out alongside a guinea pig, two frogs, a red canary, a yellow canary, a lizard, a snake, an A113, a Pizza Planet truck, and a partridge in a pear tree. Back's a bit heavy though. She gets busted by the janitor and some teachers, almost escapes, but then the sprinklers are activated and the drawings are ruined. But at least the turtle can rejoice in this moment. And also during this sequence, this is where we get the Pizza Planet truck. A blink and you'll miss it moment inside a display case. Throughout this opening scene, we have stealthy music provided by the film's composer, Mark Mothersbaugh, who's also worked on the Lego movies with Chris Pratt, Will Arnett, and Elizabeth Banks. Mabel's mom takes her to her grandmother's for a few hours, and Mabel's already off into a tree. They spend time on a rock, leading to her grandmother giving us this moment like it's nothing.
When I was 12, I punched Susie Perkins in the face.
That face from Mabel pretty much says it all. After a moment being still, quiet, and listening, Mark's beautiful music starts to bring the wildlife out, and the animation is on full display, being surrounded by nature definitely helping. They both declare it their special place. I feel I need to do this more often. Just get out and about, taking time to be still, quiet, and listen. Fast forward to the present day, and Mabel is at university. She's voiced by Piper Kerner, who's no stranger to the Disney Channel, with Ant Farm, I Didn't Do It, and the DCOM, Teen Beach 2. For those wondering what DCOM means, Disney Channel original movie.
That girl thinks she's the queen of the neighborhood.
Okay, why am I hearing Discount Thunderstruck? Construction is now underway on a new interstate through Beaverton, only for Mabel to stop the explosives going off just before ignition. This whole construction project is led by Mayor Jerry Genazzaro, voiced by John Hamm, who gave us this viral meme at the end of last year.
I said, ooh, come on baby, turn the lights off.
Igniting renewed interest in the track. John Hamm has a blockbuster on his resume with his role as Cyclone in Top Gun Maverick. as well as a few appearances on SNL, guest appearances on American Dad, Family Guy, and The Simpsons, because everybody's been on Family Guy, American Dad, and The Simpsons at some point, at least once. SpongeBob, Archer, and voiced Sentinel Prime in Transformers 1.
Mabel, I can't keep having this argument with you all the time.
We don't have this argument all the time.
People love highways. They love getting places fast. It is my day. It's not your day.
Why do these moments always crack me up? The animals are no longer there, which is concerning for Mabel. She stands her ground, claiming there's nothing they can do, all while the police drag her out kicking and screaming. Mayor Jerry gives Mabel 48 hours to get enough signatures on a petition to stop the construction from happening. No pressure. Unsurprisingly, she doesn't get any signatures until she stops at an elderly man's house, him thinking she's from the Senior Citizens Service. She spends all day with him, wondering if she's wondering if she can count on his support.
Come again?
He didn't have his hearing aid in the whole time. He gives her a shopping list. Simple enough. Milk, eggs, and bread. But what shops are going to be open at this time of day? She heads to university the next day, where we're introduced to Dr. Sam, voiced by Kathy Najimy. Hocus Pocus, Sister Act, King of the Hill, and has made a previous appearance in the Kingdom of Isolation in Tinkerbell and the Secret of the Wings, which you can hear my thoughts on in the top right of your screen, alongside all the Kingdom of Isolation episodes I've done so far. Mabel's called out for her repeated absences in a class she's enrolled in. Oops. Dr. Sam makes Mabel aware that the animals are in the glade. The animals in the glade are gone because the resident beaver left. Mabel then gets the idea. Look, I'm going to call Dr. Sam Sam, just going forward, just to make it a little easier. Mabel then gets the idea of getting a beaver back into the glade, which will allow the animals to come back.
We live in Beaverton. How hard could it be?
famous last words. Top Gear fans, they know. She has some food, wood, and the sound of water on her phone playing all day until the phone dies. All going well so far. We get a flashback to happier times with grandmother and see where Mabel got that jacket from. Mabel then hears rustling, giving her that ray of hope, and sure enough, a beaver is there. But the beaver gets kidnapped in a van and taken to the university where all is about to make sense. She follows the beaver, who gets put onto a pad, and something inside the beaver is transferred back into who turns out to be Sam. Also, Mabel's holding a robot, and she's pretty much demanding an explanation into
what the hell is even that?
We call it hoppers.
roll credits! Simple terms, one's consciousness moved into the robot. Sounds easy enough.
Whoa, you guys, this is like Avatar.
This is nothing like Avatar.
It totally is like Avatar. Only I would rather watch this over Avatar anyway. The Pandora Avatar, idiots! Not the last airbender that gave us the secret tunnel! Secret tunnel! And also, my cabbages! The Last Airbender, I will happily watch again. Pandora Avatar? No. Chaos ensues, and Mabel hops her consciousness into the beaver and manages to get out of the facility.
Stop!
She found the button.
And heads back to the glade. The scientists start searching for Mabel, but she gets caught by an owl and manages to get back to the glade where she can now understand the animals. That would absolutely be me. Mabel is a beaver. Mabel as a beaver is so expressive, and I'm all here for it. She manages to fight a beaver, but it's not quite working. She then stops a bear from eating the beaver, only to be told about the pond rules, whatever they are. We'll find out in a moment. Either way, they have to see the king, because Mabel broke these pond rules.
Yeah! Go! Yeah, get those little legs moving. You got this. Keep it going. Don't you stop. And one, and two.
Their faces say it all, really. When did this become an aerobics class? That being said, the music is fun to listen to. Bobby Moynihan is the voice of King George the 7th? Bobby is an SNL alum and has also been in NCIS Origins, We Bare Bears, and just like every celebrity ever, has made an guest appearance on The Simpsons. George then educates Mabel on the pond rules, even if they can be a bit inconsistent.
I'm married to the job, and I'm not looking for a mate. And not to mention, I'm way too old for you.
No.
Thank you for clarifying and being to the point, but also...
FBI, open up!
This is not what Mabel was looking for to begin with. As the movie begins spending more time with its animals' characters, you may notice the animation feels a little different from recent Pixar films. But that is intentional. The filmmakers balanced realistic animal behavior with more expressive and exaggerated animation techniques depending on the perspective of the scene. Several critics even noted similarities to anime and Studio Ghibli-inspired storytelling in the way certain animal sequences were staged and animated. And I just pointed out an example just earlier. And that's what's causing the distress. Connor is from the lab and is asked by Sam to get Mabel back to the lab. The tree is down and the speaker is destroyed. Revolution time! And also, time to party! Which is also work somehow. Make of this what you will. Anyway, I love the song choice. Classic 80s rock with Working for the Weekend by Loverboy. The dam is built and the glade is back. Huzzah!
Meanwhile, thousands of miles away.
What? Call the crew. We got a little more work to do.
Absolutely livid.
Is how I would describe it right now. Back with Mabel, she's with George, who teaches her how to swim and tells her about his dad. He also offers her to be the paw of the king and heir to the throne. One issue has arisen, and shock and surprise, glade's gone, more trees, and all hell is about to break loose. One reason the beaver became such an important part of the story is because Daniel Chong became fascinated by the animal's real-world role in nature. Since beavers actively reshape ecosystems, then they became the perfect symbol for a movie focused on environmental stewardship, conservation, and understanding how actions affect the natural world. It's one of those rare production decisions that completely changed the message of the film.
Summon the council.
Okay, time to go and meet them. Pixar fans may notice a fun Easter egg hidden among the animal characters. The bluebirds from the Pixar classic For the Birds make an appearance here. Their inclusion also serves as a tribute to the late Pixar animator and director Ralph Eggleston, who was responsible for some of the studio's most beloved work. George also reveals he's the mammal king, and we soon see the bird king, the fish queen, and other kings and queens, including Titus, who at this point is voiced by Iman Abdul Razak. Because Titus right now is a caterpillar at this point, so bear with me on that one. I'll get to the other voice actor for him in due course. So, Titus is the son of the Insect Queen, who is voiced by Meryl Streep, who was last seen here in The Kingdom of Isolation as Topsy in last year's Christmas special, Mary Poppins Returns. And I'll get to the other voice actor for Titus I'll get to him shortly. The music is absolutely grand as the different kings and queens are introduced. During the meeting, Mabel has had enough and takes center stage, explaining the human problem involves everyone, not just the mammals. The Insect Queen then orders Jerry to be squished.
Wait. Squish?
Code for Jerry must die!
You what?
The council start chanting squish, and the Insect Queen summons an apex predator. Shame it's not Randy Orton. That X in the sky is definitely not concerning at all. Mabel, by accident, ends up squishing the Insect Queen, allowing Titus to take over and become the Insect King. All hell is broken loose as two of the robots get destroyed. This sequence was reportedly one of the most technically challenging scenes in the entire production. Pixar artists had to create realistic wet fur simulations water interactions, and believable lighting effects, while also making sure the scene remained appropriate for younger viewers. According to reports, some sound effects and animation details were adjusted during production to reduce the intensity of without losing the emotional impact of the moment. Mabel manages to avoid being squished, as well as Titus becoming delightfully unhinged, and becomes the Insect King. Mabel rescues George, he tears into her, eventually leading to her breaking down, leading to him joining forces with her with this metaphor.
Trust is like a dam. It's gonna leak sometimes. We just gotta patch it up.
George then gets the pond crew to join forces and try and save Jerry, who's getting ready for his big day, all while You Make Me Feel Like Dancing plays in the background. He gets into his car, only for the pond crew to use his phone and communicate using text-to-speech on his phone and emojis.
Your life is in danger. You must do exactly as we say, Harry. LOL, I mean Jerry.
The emojis are a bit of fun for later on. People have a gripe about key moments being used in the trailers for movies, which is understandable. But I don't think this is one of those cases, because without context, this scene would have implied that the beavers were going to hurt Jerry. George starts to confuse Jerry, who starts to go insane. Jerry then opens the windows and drives erratically to get the pond squad out of the car. All except Mabel, who's still in the car. Only for the bear to catch them and try to chase Jerry down. Sam catches up, and the birds get the apex predator. Cue the Discount Jaws theme. Still no less unsettling. The sight of that shark would cause anyone to feel absolutely terrified. George reassures everyone it's Diane.
It's an apex predator!
Oh, it's Diane! You guys, she's actually like super nice.
Watch Diane not be super nice in 3, 2, 1.
Let's try and have a good, clean squish.
Roofs open, Diane almost squishes Jerry, Mabel gets the communication device, and the rest of the pond squad are right behind. Jerry can now communicate with and understand the pond squad.
Hey!
Hey. Oh, hey. Oh, I get it.
Once again, he's gone insane. They get rid of Diane. Jerry thinks he's dreaming, and the car's wrecked. Even after all that, Jerry still refuses to cancel the freeway, leading to Mabel snapping and revealing Jerry's location. Mabel then gets caught, and her consciousness is transferred back into her human body. All the humans are then captured by the Animal Council. That is absolutely terrifying! They measure Jerry's face and head, leading to Titus emerging and transferring his consciousness to a fake Jerry, and there's Dave Franco's delightfully unhinged nature shining through. Now, this is the other voice I was going to bring up earlier. So, Dave Franco, Now You See Me, The Disaster Artist, the Lego Ninjago movie, Nova alongside Emma Roberts, as well as the Jump Street movies. George is made aware of Mabel's betrayal, and that moment does hurt. But at the same time, Titus is right. You kind of brought this on yourself, Mabel. She passes what she learned from her grandmother on to Jerry, who hops into the beaver.
So, what's the plan?
I've said this 100 times here in the Kingdom of Isolation, and I will say it again. You take Pete's car, you go to Mum's, you go in, you kill Phil, you grab Liz, you go to the Winchester, you have a nice cold pint, and you wait for all this to blow over. At the lake, Titus is ready to activate the speakers when Mabel confronts Titus.
Look, I'm sorry I killed your mom.
Not exactly what you want to be hearing if you're in that crowd, but that spit take is very accurate. Mabel tries to convince Titus, only to be met with complete unhinged madness. Plan B has been activated, and Titus has been forced back into his own body, only to get back into the fake Jerry almost immediately. Titus then yeets Jerry, and the beaver is gone, forcing Jerry to go back into his body, leaving it down to Mabel and Titus. Mabel then falls out of the tree. Hopefully she's okay.
Time to die, human! What?
Titus, you're missing something! Falls out of the tree, fake Jerry destroyed, stage goes kaboom, forest is now on fire. Mabel tries to get everyone out of the area and prevent the fire from spreading as much as possible. Her jacket burns up. She tries to protect George and get him out, and the bear gets them out Also, but the fire keeps spreading with seemingly no way to stop it. George then decides to destroy the dam with the help of the entire forest. The music is very stirring and powerful, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't get choked up during this. The freeway is destroyed, the birds, Diane, the frogs, and insects all help. Water rushes towards the fire and it's extinguished, saving the day. Mabel goes to see what's left. And it's a horrible sight we see all too often, especially after environmental disasters like the LA wildfires that we had at the start of last year. The beavers come back to the glade as Mabel and Jerry work together. Now, if you're watching carefully, there's another Pixar reference heading near the end of the movie. The drawing of Mo, a cleaning robot from WALL-E, can briefly be spotted on Sam's whiteboard. It's a small detail, but exactly the kind of Easter egg Pixar loves sneaking in to its films. Also, it gives us our A113! Idea 113. The Hopper experiment is shut down because it's not worth the danger to humanity. Beaverton Glade is now a nature preserve, and Mabel spends time with Gordon to end the film as SZA's song Save the Day plays over the end credits. And I like this song. I mean, actually listening to it while preparing for this episode, it did get me a little bit choked up, and I'm okay with that. So, we get a mid-credit scene where the Pond Squad have fun with the Jerry mask, only for a bird to steal it, ending the fun in the process. And even the end credits contain a hidden joke. Different departments in the production are represented by their own sets of emojis, and this wasn't random. You know those emojis I mentioned earlier? It's a small detail most audiences probably missed, but it's another example of Pixar carrying a joke all the way through production. The film is dedicated to beavers, monarch butterflies, all living things, and the humans who love and protect them. A curious choice, though, to have the production babies be called production kids. I do love when the production babies get these different names in the credits, whether it's something like U Seminar graduates, for instance, from Soul. But this one, I don't feel this one works. But that's just my opinion on it. It's a minor thing anyway. The film did get a green seal from the Environmental Media Agency as well. And we get a post-credit scene where we see the elderly man get his shopping to finish the film. It's a fun film with an interesting environmental message of not screwing around with nature using science experiments to communicate with them. So, time for the scores. Starting with the story, and I'm going to give Hoppers an 8.5 out of 10. The central idea of humans hopping their consciousness into robotic animals is a creative concept that Pixar has a lot of fun exploring. What I particularly liked was how the environmental message felt woven into the story rather than being forced upon the audience and shoved down their throats. You all know who you are! The film also does a good job raising the stakes throughout, going from saving a single glade to protecting an entire ecosystem. While I don't think it's quite among Pixar's absolute best stories, it's still a strong and engaging adventure from start to finish. For the characters, I'm going to give it an 8. Mabel is an easy protagonist to root for. George provides a lot of heart and humor, Jerry gets some surprisingly entertaining moments, and Titus makes a delightfully unhinged villain. The cast clearly had fun with their roles, and that comes across on screen. While I don't think the characters quite reach the iconic status of some of Pixar's all-time greats, they're memorable enough that I'll happily revisit them in the future. Visuals, they're going to get a 9. Always remember to stay hydrated, kids. Pixar continues to be one of the best animation studios in the business, and Hoppers is another great example of why. The wildlife, forest, rivers, and animal expressions all look fantastic, and some of the scenery throughout the film is genuinely beautiful. I especially loved the quieter moments where the film simply allows nature to take center stage. Combined with the more expressive animation style used for the animals, it creates a world that's both believable and fun to spend time in. The soundtrack's also getting a 9 from me. Mark Mothersbaugh delivers a score that ranges from playful and adventurous to emotional and uplifting when the story needs it most. The film also makes good use of its licensed music choices, helping keep the energy high during several key scenes, and by the end of the movie, the music had become one of the things I appreciated most about the experience. And finally, I'm going to give The Legacy an 8. For The Legacy, one thing working in the film's favour is that audiences and critics both seem to embrace it. At the time of writing, Hoppers holds a 94% critic score and a 93% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, with the site's consensus describing it as a sprightly riot that may be one of the funniest Pixar films ever made. The film is also a box office success, earning around $383 million worldwide against a reported $150 million budget. It became the 6th highest grossing film of 2026 and gave Pixar its biggest opening for an original film since Coco back in 2017. Disney has already shown confidence in the character as well, with Mabel appearing in Disney's Speedstorm in her beaver form, giving the film a presence outside of the movie itself. And while nothing has been officially announced, director Daniel Chong has said he would love to make a sequel and revealed that material cut from the first film could potentially be used in a follow-up story. I don't think Hopper is quite at the level of Toy Story, Finding Nemo, Up, or Inside Out, but it's absolutely one of Pixar's strongest original films in recent years and has already proven that audiences will still show up for a brand new Pixar story when the idea is strong enough. So overall, Hoppers gets an overall score of 87%. It's funny, heartfelt, visually stunning, packed with strong voice performances, and carries a meaningful message about protecting the natural world. It may not be Pixar's greatest film, but it's certainly one of their stronger original stories in recent years, and one I had a great time watching. Scoreboard-wise, hopping ahead of Elio and behind A Bug's Life, Cars, and Turning Red. I'm definitely recommending this one, especially for how expressive Mabel is when in beaver form, alone, and Save the Day just hitting that sweet spot in the end credits. Now, I'm going to get serious for a moment because I've left this final section unscripted with good reason. So right now, it doesn't feel right to do the usual spiel of plugging, thumbs up, subscribe, bell, notifications, etc. It just doesn't feel right at this point because, as a lot of us will know by now, a lot of us are still shocked and saddened by the death of Debbie Chase, who was the voice of Lilo in Lilo and Stitch, alongside other films like Donnie Darko and the remake of The Ring, and the English dub of Spirited Away. Passing away at only just 35 due to septic shock that was brought on by meningitis that led to organ failure afterwards. It still hurts. She passed away on Tuesday, and the news was announced the following day. It still hurts, and for me, it's one of the harshest reminders of how precious life can be, because you just never know when something like this is going to happen, and that your life can be gone just like that. And that is why especially now, I always emphasize making each moment count. People ask me, why make each moment count? Because of what I've been through, surviving the Manchester Arena attacks, living by myself during COVID, the mental health issues that I've had. Even I've had points, and I've brought it up previously, where I didn't want to be here anymore. But the love and support of those around me gives me that strength to keep going just one more day. And that's why I keep emphasizing at the end of each episode and the end of each video that I make, to make each moment count, because this is just one of the cruelest examples of how precious life can be. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. So that's why I always emphasize make each moment count. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time in the Kingdom of Isolation.